I've been friends with Liam since we were kids, and over the years, I've seen him date a lot of different people. But none of them were quite like Sarah. When he first introduced her to our friend group, we all thought she was amazing. She was smart, funny, and incredibly kind. She volunteered at an animal shelter, ran marathons for charity, and always seemed to have a positive word for everyone. Liam was absolutely smitten. And honestly, we all were a little bit too. For the first year, their relationship was like something out of a movie. They were inseparable, always posting these perfect couple photos from their weekend trips and fancy dinners. Liam told me he was going to propose, and we all started planning our outfits for the wedding. But then, things started to get weird. It began subtly. Sarah would make these little passive-aggressive comments disguised as jokes. Like one time, at a group dinner, our friend Mark was talking about his recent promotion. Sarah smiled sweetly and said, "Oh, that's wonderful, Mark. It must be so nice to feel successful." The way she said it made it sound like no one else at the table was. We all kind of exchanged glances, but Liam didn't seem to notice. He just beamed, proud of his witty girlfriend. Another time, Liam was excited about a new hobby he'd picked up, woodworking. He'd spent weeks in his garage, making a small, slightly wobbly bookshelf. He was so proud of it. When he showed it to Sarah, she looked at it, tilted her head, and said, "It's rustic. Very you." Liam took it as a compliment. I saw it as a thinly veiled insult. The red flag started waving more furiously as time went on. She began isolating Liam from us. Friday night hangouts, which had been a tradition for over a decade, suddenly became a problem. Sarah would always have a last-minute emergency or a migraine that required Liam to stay home with her. If he did manage to come out, his phone would be blowing up with texts from her the entire time. He'd be distracted, anxious, and would usually leave early, apologizing profusely. We tried talking to him about it, but he'd get defensive. "She just cares about me a lot," he'd say. "She gets worried." We knew it was more than that. It felt like she was slowly and methodically cutting the ties that connected him to his old life, to us. The financial control was the next level of her manipulation. Liam had a great job in tech and was always smart with his money. But after they moved in together, he was suddenly always broke. We'd invite him out for a cheap beer, and he'd say he couldn't afford it. At first, we thought maybe they were saving up for the wedding or a house, but then I found out the truth. Liam had let me use his laptop one day, and his banking app was still logged in. I wasn't trying to snoop, I swear, but the balance was shockingly low. I saw dozens of transactions for designer bags, spa days, and expensive clothes, none of which were for Liam. I confronted him about it, gently. He broke down and admitted that Sarah had convinced him to open a joint account. She told him it was a sign of true partnership, but she was the only one with the card, and she was spending his salary like it was her personal allowance. He was working 60-hour weeks just to fund her lifestyle, while she hadn't worked a day since they moved in together. He was trapped. He said he loved her, but he looked exhausted, a shadow of the happy guy we used to know. The real breaking point, the moment the illusion completely shattered for Liam, was over a dog. Liam had always wanted a golden retriever. He'd talked about it since we were kids. After months of begging, Sarah finally allowed him to get a puppy. He named him Buddy, and for a few weeks, it was like the old Liam was back. He was so happy. Buddy was his whole world, but Sarah hated the dog. She complained about the hair, the smell, the neediness. One evening, Liam came home from work to find his apartment empty. Sarah was gone, Buddy was gone, and there was a note on the counter. The note said she couldn't handle the stress of the dog and had taken him back to the shelter. She wrote, "It's me or the dog, Liam. You have to choose." Liam just snapped. It was like a switch flipped. All the little comments, the isolation, the financial abuse, it all crashed down on him at once. The dog was the final straw. He didn't even hesitate. He drove straight to the shelter, his hands shaking on the steering wheel. He told me later that the whole drive, he wasn't thinking about Sarah at all. He was just picturing Buddy, alone in a cage. When he got there, the shelter staff told him Sarah had indeed dropped Buddy off, claiming he was aggressive. Liam knew it was a lie. He showed them pictures and videos of Buddy, being the sweet, playful puppy he was. He filled out the paperwork and brought Buddy home. When he walked back into his apartment with Buddy, Sarah was there, sitting on the couch as if she'd just popped out for groceries. She saw the dog, and her face turned to stone. "So you made your choice," she said, her voice dripping with ice, and for the first time, Liam stood up to her. He didn't yell. He just said calmly and firmly, "Yes, I did. I choose myself. And my dog. You need to leave." Sarah exploded. She screamed, she cried, she tried every manipulation tactic in her book. She told him he was throwing away the best thing that ever happened to him. He just stood there, holding Buddy, and repeated, "Leave." She finally stormed out, slamming the door so hard a picture fell off the wall. The aftermath was tough. Liam had to deal with the financial mess she left behind, not to mention the emotional toll of the whole ordeal. She had drained their joint account completely, leaving him with just a few dollars. He had to take on extra freelance work just to pay his rent and bills. But you know what? He was happier than I had seen him in years. It was like a massive weight had been lifted off his shoulders. The old Liam was back, the one who laughed freely, who came out with his friends, who wasn't constantly looking at his phone with a worried expression. He and Buddy are inseparable. We all joke that Buddy is the best thing that ever happened to Liam, because that little puppy saved him from a lifetime of misery. Liam even started woodworking again. His first new project? A custom, very sturdy dog bed for Buddy. And this time, when he showed it to us, he was genuinely proud, with no one there to give him a backhanded compliment. He learned a hard lesson, but he came out stronger. And he has a very good boy by his side for the whole journey. Thanks for watching.